What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man of fire himself, Halfpint, once again, and this was completely unexpected. So I saw a video in my recommendation list from Young. Yeah, check him out if you haven't already. He usually covers a lot of news and interesting topics going on in the gaming industry. And after he brought up this is something I'm very passionate about, so I had to jump on it instantly. Anthem is getting overhauled. This is something that people have been complaining about for over, I guess, almost a year now. I mean, it's almost been a year since the game came out. The game has been a complete trash fest. There's been a lot of problems with the game. A lot of staff have quit, most of them being the higher ups. And they're all talking about how we're going to continue this journey to make Anthem better and we have a plan. After all this time, yeah, Anthem's getting overhauled. Check this out. So the well-known reporter at this point, Jason Schreier, has made once again another article on Anthem. For those of you who don't know who Jason Schreier is, he's the guy that constantly makes reports and behind the scenes of what goes on with companies and games and usually why they fail. The whole reason why we know the behind the scenes about Bungie during the Destiny fiasco, the whole reason why we know the behind the scenes about Anthem, of why it was messed up in the first place, and the fact that before the E3 trailer was even shown, people didn't even know what they named the game was. Mass Effect Andromeda, the reason why we know behind the scenes of that is because Jason Schreier. He's become a very reputable source within the gaming industry, and he's even occasionally dropped leaks that have all become true. Or from what I've heard, the leaks I've heard from him have come true. So yeah, we can definitely trust what he says. Now, granted, at the end of the day, it's still not confirmed, so it still has to be treated as a rumor. However, with his past track record, we at least have some sort of idea of what we're getting into with this article. And it's insane that they're actually doing an overhaul. What baffles me, though, is the fact that the game is getting overhauled, and we had to have Jason Schreier report on it because some of the sources within Bioware wanted to talk about it, but Bioware doesn't report it? What? But instead of coming out and talking about your overhaul that's going to completely fix the game and let the fans know, hey, we got you, we understand what's going on, we're going to take care of this, you guys are just going quiet and putting your nose to the grindstone. And I mean, yeah, maybe if you don't want to make big promises before they happen, but at the same time, this isn't something you want to alert the fans about, saying, hey, the game really isn't dead. Because right now, we've been hearing this from Bioware and EA over and over, and that right there means nothing. Especially coming from EA in particular. That means, hey, it's okay, we're still gonna milk this game while there's still a fan base here. But apparently, they weren't actually lying. They are actually sticking with the game. So let's not celebrate yet. There is some stuff we need to get into first, then we'll make our conclusions afterwards. So Jason Schreier basically starts off with the same thing that we were saying earlier by saying a lot of the recent departures within the studio has driven people away and scared people about, is this game even going to continue in the first place? But according to the source, for the last few months, Bioware and parent company EA have been planning on an overhaul for the online shooter, according to 3 people familiar with those plans. Some call it Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next. It goes on to say many of the details are still in flux, and there's no clear timeline for the Anthem Next project just yet. The developers at Bioware haven't even decided how it'll be distributed. They're still figuring out whether updates should be released all at once or over an extended period of time. This game can't handle putting stuff in updates over time. You've already been doing that for a year. Doing that now is not going to make anything better. And granted, I know everyone's going to point out to No Man's Sky. You know, No Man's Sky got through it. That was a different example, okay? That one was essentially under the radar, and some people appreciated the game for what it was. This one has been a disaster in every retrospect. It's not just because the game itself has a problem. The game doesn't even function. It's still a buggy mess. When No Man's Sky launched, it wasn't clear what the game was, there wasn't a clear objective, multiplayer was a lie, and there was a lot of lies about the game. But the game ran. So some people appreciated the game and stuck it out for the eventual updates that came out. And they were all bigger updates too. There wasn't that many trinkle updates. Anthem, on the other hand, is just a piece of garbage, and it's broken. And every small update we've gotten for the game has addressed bugs. Like, it's been a large patch of addressing bugs, and the game is still a mess. You cannot trinkle out updates anymore. Just wait, hold it off, work on this version, When it's done, push it out. There can't be in-betweens at this point. There's no time. The game it's a mess. You gotta start over at this point. It looks like it's not gonna be ready anytime soon. If I had to take a guess, mid to late 2020. Earliest. Absolute earliest. I would say like maybe late summer of 2020, because that's also when there's not very many games launching around that period of time. Hopefully Bioware will actually come out and say something officially, because this is something your players really need to hear. This is what people have been asking for. You can't be quiet about this. I mean, No Man's Sky, again, to bring up that example, had a reason to be quiet, because Sean Murray, during the lead up of the game, couldn't shut up, and that was the problem. Anthem's the opposite. You guys are too quiet! The article continues. Anthem could be overhauled through a series of updates a la No Man's Sky. It could get a game-changing expansion like Destiny's critically acclaimed Taken King. No. Destiny could get away with that because they were updating the game. It wasn't a buggy mess. The game was lacking content for sure, but it wasn't a buggy mess. The game ran. And then the Taken King came out, which was a huge overhaul. It was an annual update, and it was a lot of content. The answer for that was just content. And again, Activision gotta make money. But it was just content. You're overhauling the game here. The fact that you guys are overhauling the game, you can't charge for that. And you guys already have plenty of microtransactions. Destiny didn't launch with microtransactions. They didn't get that until after the Taken King, okay? You guys started with microtransactions. They're pretty pricey too, actually. So, no. You guys can't be charging for expansion. No one's gonna buy that. Your game's already downhill. There's not that many people that like this game. By charging expansion, you're already splitting up a player base that's only a quarter there now. Split a quarter, what you got? What you got? I honestly don't think you can charge for this right now. You are not in that sort of position. So we'll have to wait and find out what they're gonna do. We spent a few months just tearing it down and figuring out what needed to change fundamentally. A lot. And we've been rebuilding for another few months since. So it sounds like they're already far enough in the process of working on this, but it's interesting you state the fact that, I mean, you're trying to change the game fundamentally because, yeah, there is a lot to change. The game is flawed in literally every manner. There's no in-game. The story wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great either. It was average at best. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was pretty average. And, how do I put this last one? Your loot sucks! It doesn't drop very much, and when it does drop, it's not exciting. And it's not well catered either. I'm pretty sure it's randomized. Like, I remember when the game first launched, you could get like an assault rifle, and one of its bonuses on the assault rifle was, does extra shotgun damage. Why would you drop an assault rifle with extra shotgun damage as a perk? Were you guys even looking at your loot when you were making this? No, because if you read the article about Anthem, they scrapped this game together at the very end. That's its own story. I'll link that below in case you guys want to check that out. For a lot of you who don't know, Anthem was literally developed in its last few months. Thanks to a messy development process plagued with technical issues, vision struggles, and many other stresses, the game flopped. It was buggy, tedious, and lacked the long-term appeal of its competitors, with no in-game content to be seen. In the coming months, Bioware would delay Anthem's in-game Cataclysm event, and on September 17th, developers said they were moving away from previously announced updates in favor of long-term fixes. None of the higher-ups are even around the company anymore, and now we're overhauling the game. So this could be a good thing, because all the old people are gone, and all the higher-ups are basically gone. And I guess according to that last article, the higher-ups were causing most of the problems by infighting and not deciding on stuff. With those people gone, and now the game being overhauled, we can see some overall net positives come out of this. Actually, it makes me think if these people didn't just quit because they were afraid and ready to jump ship, but if they were kind of forced to resign, or maybe not forced, but pressured into a position to resign. Because if it's true that they procrastinated for years and essentially built like the whole latter half of the like most of the game in the last few months, and if it was down to leadership abusing the lower half of the studio and not making any good decisions, yeah, I could see EA pressuring some of these people to leave their positions. So I am curious to see, does Anthem have a chance now? I mean, it's very possible that Anthem might actually have a chance here on out. But the reality is, Bioware is still putting a lot of work into Anthem. Details on Anthem's next are hazy. But among other things, the game's developers plan to overhaul the loot, the quest, the social aspects of the game, the difficulty, the progression system, and the world map. I mean, if these guys are actually taking notes from other games now, good. You need them, because you can't do this by yourself. It's not like you guys are the first to develop a game like this. No, it's been done many times over. Look at the other games of service games that have failed and have made mistakes. Look at their mistakes. Final Fantasy XIV had to shut down. Final Fantasy XIV had to shut down, rebuild the game, and launch it again as a Realm Reborn. And it was highly praised for that. And now the game has been highly successful. A brand new expansion came out a couple months ago, and it was hailed as one of the best expansions. Like ever. That's great. That's really cool. And they even had like Tom Holland, the guy that's been playing Spider-Man, do an advertisement for that expansion. So yeah, it pays off to listen to the fans. Bungie's been doing some pretty good work on Destiny. The game is looking substantially better. I played Destiny 2 still on the daily. No Man's Sky's better. Still not my type of game, but I mean, it's definitely a lot better than what it used to be. It's great. I'm glad to hear you guys are taking strides and changes. Like, it looks like they are completely overhauling the game. I know I've been saying that a lot, but like, this point they're talking about loot's changing. Good. Progression changing. Good. World map is changing. If you have to do it, go for it. Another rep came out and said, we're also looking at breaking up the need to go back to Fort Tarsus after every mission, and what a mission technically is. Good. We're trying to integrate the desperate parts of the game together. Glad to hear that. Fort Tarsus is a mess. Continues to say, with so much in the air, it is impossible to know what will and won't change. But it's safe to say that Anthem won't suddenly transform into a brand new franchise. We still expect to see freelancer mercenaries, shaper artifacts, javelin exosuits, and all the other core ideas that the game has established. Bioware's plan is to zoom out and overhaul the game systems that most players have agreed don't work. How and when this plan will come together to fruition remains to be seen. The premise of the game isn't changing, they're just changing about a lot of the gameplay aspects that don't work. Fine, fair, that was the problem with the game. Anthem was developed by both of Bioware's offices, but the plan had always been for Bioware Edmonton to pass the baton to Bioware Austin once the game went live. That has been happening slowly, sources said, which is exciting to members of the Austin team who think they can improve the game, as detailed in our piece about the development of Anthem earlier this year. Blah, 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 blah. Good. Put Edmonton on Dragon Age 4. Make sure that game is good. Take your time. Make sure it's good. Don't procrastinate. Get it done. As for Austin, it sucks that you just shit on this game and have to give it to those guys. But you know what? Those are the same guys that made the Star Wars The Old Republic MMO game, and they've done a great job with that. Austin did do some work with the with Anthem, and the article, again, linked down below, even talks about that a little bit, how they had a lot of ideas like, guys, we had these problems when we were making our MMO. Let's look into these, make sure we don't do that with Anthem. No! This is our project. We're doing it this way. So I'm glad that Austin now has the reins to say, we're going to fix this shit. We're going to take care of this, because I trust Austin. I think the Austin team will be able to take care of this and get this sort of stuff done, because they've done it before. I believe they can do it a second time. They know how to run live service games, so good luck to those guys. They're going to need it. They have a lot of work ahead of them. It looks like Edmonton is still working on the project as well. Best of luck to you guys. And I don't want to just say, Edmonton, bad guy. You know, it's not like the whole team of people are bad. It's not like everyone in the studio is bad. It's just, there were a couple of bad berries that made bad decisions. That was the lamest thing I've ever said. There's a few people in there that made some bad decisions to stay in the game, and the game's got problems. Yeah. Is it going to be Game of the Year, the best thing ever? Hell no, not even close. But at least the game isn't dead, and we can see where it goes from here. I mean, I'm not expecting too much out of it. I'm not going to jump for joy and congratulate them, because we just haven't seen anything concrete yet. Remember, this is still from an article. Until we at least hear something concrete from Bioware, then we can have a little bit of celebration. Maybe pop a drink off, and that's about it. Till then, we're going to have to wait to see what Bioware does. And if the overhaul is successful, Anthem as a franchise has a chance, because EA still wants us to go for 10 years, because of course they do. But if that's the case, then when it comes to a sequel, we can actually look forward to something beneficial coming out of the sequel. Because right now, the world's not interesting, story wasn't that good, and gameplay has problems. And with this overhaul, they're changing a lot of the gameplay aspects to make it more fun to play, but the whole root of the game suffers right now. And that story's probably not going to get fixed until at least a sequel to retell a story. Or I guess an expansion, but you guys aren't ready for an expansion yet. Sorry. You're just not. Until then, that's all I got for you guys. Be sure to let me know what you guys think down below, in the comment section below. I know most of you guys are just going to say EA bad or Anthem's going to die, you know, just sure. Tell me what you guys think. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a hashtag finished if you made it to the end of the video, as always. I thank you all for watching a long time, but not a hard time. And I'll see you guys next time. Bioware, don't mess this up.